In the elite world of the Apex Academy, a school for the world's most gifted musicians, two students sat at the ivory keys of twin grand pianos. On the left was Leo. Leo was a phenomenon. At 5, he played Mozart. At 10, he composed symphonies. He had 100% talent. Music flowed through him like water. He never had to practice scales because his fingers instinctively knew where to go. He was the golden boy, and everyone assumed he would be the greatest of his generation. On the right was Claire. Claire was average. Her timing was sometimes stiff, and she struggled with complex arpeggios. She had perhaps 10% talent, but she possessed something Leo didn't: the 1% mindset. The difference between them wasn't visible in the light of the recital hall. It was visible in the darkness of the practice rooms at 4 a.m. Because things came easily to Leo, he became fragile. If he hit a wrong note, he'd stop, frustrated that his genius had failed him. He relied on his natural gift, which meant he never learned how to toil. He stayed within his comfort zone, playing pieces he already knew perfectly. Claire viewed every mistake as data. When she failed a passage, she didn't see it as a lack of worth, she saw it as a puzzle. She applied the 1% rule: just get 1% better every single day. The Academy announced a final competition, a piece so complex it was deemed unplayable by most. Leo looked at the sheet music. For the first time in his life, his talent wasn't enough to sight-read the melody. He practiced for an hour, hit a wall, and felt a surge of bitterness. If I can't do this naturally, he thought, then the piece is poorly written. He relied on his ego to carry him through, skipping the grueling technical drills. Claire looked at the same music and felt a familiar spark. She broke the piece down into tiny, microscopic segments. She practiced one bar for 4 hours until her muscle memory was locked. She didn't try to be a genius. She just tried to be 1% better than she was yesterday. On the night of the performance, Leo went first. He started brilliantly. His natural flair was undeniable. But midway through the unplayable section, his lack of foundational discipline showed. He tripped on a chord, panicked, and his performance unraveled. His talent had reached its ceiling, and he didn't know how to climb higher. Claire stepped up. She didn't have Leo's effortless grace, but she had resilience. When she reached the difficult section, she didn't feel her way through it. She executed it. Her 1% gains over the last year had compounded into a mastery that talent alone could never touch. The lesson: Leo had 100% of the engine, but Claire had the steering wheel and the fuel. The audience didn't stand for the boy who was born great. They stood for the girl who had become great. Claire proved that talent is merely the starting line, but mindset is the finish line. Success isn't a destination, it's a habit. Subscribe to keep your mindset fueled with the stories that prove anything is possible.